on Monday, we found out that Holly Holm, the legend, the Hall of Famer, the future MMA Hall of Famer, the boxing Hall of Famer, the former UFC women's bantamweight champion, has parted ways with the UFC. So this created a lot of interest, a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter, and so we wanted to talk to Holly about why this happened, how we got to this point, and where she goes from here. She's kind enough to join us right now. Let's not keep her waiting any longer. And there she is. Hello, Holly. How are you? Thank you very much for the time, and apologies for our tardiness. Thanks for doing this.
That's all right. I'm like the queen of being late. So on the flip side, I'm like patient when I'm the one who has to wait.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate it. Okay. So this was met with some surprise and obviously a lot of interest. My understanding was that you and the UFC mutually agreed to part ways. You have 2 fights left on your deal. You wanted to explore some other options. How did we get to this point? Why did you want to do this?
It's been, already, I think 8 months since my last fight, something like that, 7 or 8 months. And I know that I'm not going to fight forever, but I still want a couple more. And I had been in a little bit of talks, just trying to see if anything would happen. And I did want to be able to dance in the UFC octagon one more time. But it just didn't seem like it was something that was going to be promised. And so I did have 2 fights left on the contract, but that's not always promised, and I didn't want to wait around forever either. So I want to see what other options there are. There's no negative thoughts, no hate or anything like that. I'm super, super thankful for my entire journey with the UFC and all the opportunities that they've given me and being able to fight for a title. And I'm super thankful for the journey, and I'm not done. I know a lot of people have a lot of thoughts that I need to be retired and all that. It's definitely closer, but I'm just not there yet. I know I still have a couple fights left in me, and I want to see what doors open up. Maybe I go to boxing. I know there's a lot of talk with GFL, so I'm just leaving my options open. When I boxed, I fought at 140. 147 and 154. I never fought at 135 in boxing. So sometimes I feel like it's unfinished business. Do I go back? And the people that have, belts at that weight class are Serrano and Taylor. So sometimes it's like, is that unfinished business? Because that's most of my fights in MMA. I mean, majority of them were at 135, but I never fought at 135 in boxing. So who knows?
Okay, so there's a lot there. Can I just ask, are you somewhat disappointed that you didn't get that one last fight in the UFC to maybe go out on your own terms?
I would definitely have liked that, but I'm not one of those that gets so set on one thing that if life doesn't go that way, you're mad about it. I definitely would have liked to say, hey, you guys, this is my last one. I want to put it on a show for you. And I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't perform in my last fight, and that's on me. So I always take my own responsibility with things. I think I still have definitely a lot left in me, but haven't shown that in my last fight. And so I still wanted to show more before I was not able to fight with the UFC anymore.
And why couldn't you get that last one?
I think we just couldn't come to terms, and I think there's a lot of girls that they're excited about, and I didn't want to wait around. So it's just kind of something that wasn't really promised, and also I'm not wanting to wait forever.
I get it, 100%. And so when you came to that realization, was there any part of you that thought, okay, maybe I'm done, I'm good? Did you consider it even for a second?
No.
Okay. Very, very clear.
Yeah, I think I mean, if you had asked me this, 5 years ago, which is a lot of time goes, a lot of things happen in 5 years, I probably would say, no, I'm just going to finish everything in the UFC. But I also feel that I like to take things step by step, fight by fight, year by year, day by day. I'm not really one that plans way too far in advance. I like to just take life as it comes. And as much as I do know that ambition and self-motivation and going out and, shooting for things you want, that's a huge part. And then also there's sometimes you can't control life. And I'm a true believer in God's plan. And if this is where the journey is going, I need to embrace it and make the best of it.
As of right this moment, and obviously we don't hold you to this, but where your heart is leaning, do you feel like it's leaning towards boxing, like kind of going back to where you started, ending where you started? Are you feeling MMA? What are you feeling?
Gosh, I think, in a perfect world, I'll do both.
Okay. Wow.
I still, if I can, I would like to have another fight for MMA and another fight for boxing.
So like one each?
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yes.
I think I still want to, gosh, when I I go for runs and when I picture things I want to do, I still want another head kick knockout. You can't do that in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also think, man, it'd be really cool to go and fight for a fourth weight division in boxing. So why not? So those are definitely, I think of both of those things pretty much down the middle. But I think my heart still, maybe I lean a little more towards MMA first. I don't know. I just want to see what opens.
You didn't ask, but can I offer my 2 cents?
Yeah, tell me. Here's the thing. I tell people I'm pretty open to anybody's
okay, well, no, because it's your life and
ideas.
Your career.
Whether I take them and go with them is one thing,
That's fair. I feel like right now, because you've been in MMA, I think, we're approaching 10 years almost since the Ronda fight, let alone when you got into the UFC. So it's crazy how time just flies. I feel like with the growth of women's boxing wasn't what it was when you transitioned over, right? And I feel like there are some massive fights. The Katie fight in particular has been talked about for so long. There are some big names. You mentioned Katie, you mentioned Amanda Serrano. Even when I posted the news, Michaela Mayer, who is a former Olympian, or an Olympian, sorry, I know Olympians don't like when you say former Olympian and Olympian, who now fights for a Top Rank, who's a big star, put something in the comments about wanting to fight you. Like, I just feel like you have kind of been there, done that in MMA, in terms of opponents, not in terms of accomplishments or, you want to get a head kick. I get that. But I feel like the biggest fights out there, and there's something nice about finishing where you started, are in women's boxing.
Yeah, I do feel like things sometimes come full circle. And when I did fight in boxing, I fought 4 times a year. I was very active and I fought all the top girls. And one thing I do know about my entire career, whether it be boxing or MMA, is I was always fighting the top girls. It was never any handouts. And I'm thankful for that. They've always been tough fights from day one. And I want to go back. If I go back, I definitely want to fight those big fights. But before, like you say, the boxing just wasn't promoted where it's at now. It's not as viewed as much as it is now. There's definitely more exposure for women's boxing. I definitely feel that I had a big part in that to help bring it to where it's at now. But to be able to go back and make a statement in boxing, it would be awesome. So one of the things that I'm super thankful for, and I feel super blessed, is I had 10 years in boxing. I made a great career of it. And when I started MMA, everybody was telling me I should retire then. And I'm sure glad I didn't, because I was able to become champion and have a whole nother career in MMA. And everybody's always telling me what they think I should do. And I'm not talking about you saying I should box instead of MMA, whatever. But I definitely know it's closer to retirement, but I know that I have more left in me. And it would be kind of cool to come full circle and be able to finish on a big stage back in boxing, being that I know that I was one of those that helped bring boxing to where it's at today.
One sport, if you will, that we didn't mention is bare knuckle boxing. I know you just called a BYB event, and Dave Feldman, who's the founder of BKFC, commented on you leaving the UFC and said he's interested in speaking to your agent Lenny Fresquez as well. How do you feel about a potential bare knuckle fight?
Everybody's like, don't do bare knuckle, Holly, don't do bare knuckle. And that's not really where my heart is at.
Okay.
So I always say, follow your heart. and where your passion is, and then everything else will fall in place. So I think out of all of the options out there, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't really know, but it's not that I'm like, I would never do that. It's not like that at all. I've had not anything, you know, like professional, but I've had, growing up, I had a few like street fights and things like that.
You
So
got into street
like,
fights as a
I'm
kid?
really,
I can't imagine you in a street
yeah.
fight. What were the circumstances?
Um, I mean, I had like looking back as an adult, like they were all valid.
They were?
So yeah, they were valid.
What do
Hmm.
you mean by valid? Like what makes them valid? What
Um,
happened?
okay. I mean, I'll give you one from when I was the last time I did that. I definitely one of them was kind of wild. I was like 20, and two girls tried to jump me. It's
Wow.
definitely a long story.
Wait, what happened? Why'd they try to jump you?
A
This is
big
incredible.
misunderstanding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a big misunderstanding, and I did understand why they would think what they thought, but it wasn't true. And I'm the person that's like, we need to talk about this and let them know. It's a long story. We'd be here all day, but
They jumped you and then you
the
beat
one
them up?
caught, yeah, like we were locked in a room, two
Whoa.
girls and myself, and it was just the one. And I kept telling her, calm down. This isn't what you think. Calm down, calm down, calm down. And she wasn't. And she kept kind of, slap punching. And it wasn't really like hurting much, but
Sure.
it was definitely starting to piss me off. And then I kept telling her, I was like, calm down. And then finally I was like, I told you, like, I mean, there's a lot of cuss words. And I was told you, like, don't fuck around, And I like put my hand on her chest, and I told her, I said, I told you, like, stop fucking around. And she like went to swing like a wide right, and so I just pulled her shirt, and did a
Wow.
straight punch, and it just turned into I mean, I probably only hit her like maybe 6 or 8 times, like to the face, but it was solid. And then she
What?
like went down, and
Six or
then
eight
the other
times.
girl,
Okay, yeah.
uh, then the other girl like kind of came in. Then everybody else like busted in the door and all this, and they left. And then the other girl said something, so I like ran um out her into the parking lot. So it was over. Nobody really it and it was one of those things, just kind of like it wasn't anything. I don't really like prefer anything like that. I'm not trying to get into stuff like that. So I definitely tried to like
Sure.
kind of squash it before it started. But I
Can
mean,
I
that was
just ask why were you locked in a room with them?
I'd say it's like it was just like at a house party. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay. And
And I didn't really think anything of it. And that, yeah,
oh my
we
gosh.
just were talking back there. Yeah.
And what were they mad
And
about?
they like locked the door. They were thinking that something was going on with uh one of their guys,
Oh
which
God.
wasn't.
Which it wasn't. It was a misunderstanding.
No, it was a
And they
misunderstanding.
tried to beat you up and then you beat them up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they did definitely try to come in, and who knows if they both would have tried at the same time. But I wound up walking out of it fine. I didn't have
Did you end up walking out with the
any.
guy that they thought that you were with, but then at that point you're like, let me just walk out with this guy to just, rub it in their face? Oh,
No.
all right.
They all left. It's Albuquerque. Not all places are super like it's kind of wild sometimes. I love
Yeah.
Albuquerque. It's a very passionate place.
Yes. By the way, can I
That's the
just?
only like adult, huh?
Oh, no, go ahead, please, please, please.
That's the only like adult like street fight I was in, and it's definitely not something I sought out. It was definitely more like I had to.
Right. More
I
of a
really
house party
but
fight than a street fight.
yes, house party. It was definitely a house party. So but like growing up, there was this like my parents they would always tell me, Holly, don't ever start anything, but don't ever just, let people hurt you or take advantage of you or anything like that. And another one, like when I was in 5th grade, this boy used to like grope on the girls a lot at school. As an adult, looking back, where did he learn that from? And my heart hurts for him because I'm pretty sure things happened to him in order for him to even know what those things were. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So looking back, I'm like, where did he even learn these? But I used to always like tell him to get off, and so he stopped bothering me. And he kept doing it to one of my friends, and she was like, he always like you like go to the water fountain, he'll like run his hand up the back of your side and or try and brush against you if you walk by the desk, and he's just kind of. And I told her, I said, you just need to stop letting him pick on you, and he'll stop. If you don't say anything, he's just going to keep doing it because it's you're like easy target. And so finally one day at recess, I saw her turn around, and she was like, he must have done something. I didn't see what he did. And she turned around and she was telling him to stop. She finally was standing up for herself. And he stood there with his arms crossed and stood like with his feet like shoulder width apart. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? And was like kind of telling her off. And back then I was a cowgirl-ish. I had like cowgirl boots on. I went up behind him and I just kicked right up on his crotch, and he dropped to the ground.
Wow.
And I told my friend, I was like, kick him. I was like, don't let him do this to you. And so we kind of like, we both were like kicking him on the ground, and I got called to the office, and they sent me home, but I didn't, and I've never actually said this like publicly. It doesn't matter anymore. But when I was in school, I never got written up for it. They just sent me home, and they said that this is a problem that a lot of girls have had, but they're like teachers and things couldn't really do anything about it. So they're like actually kind of glad. They're like, but we can't like let you get in a fight and be in school and people think that it's okay to fight. So we're gonna have to send you home. But all your teachers are okay if you still turn in your paperwork. You're not gonna get any zeros, but you have to go home, and you can't say that you didn't get written up. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I had a couple of days off of school. But I look back, it was bad. He was doing it all over the school. But I look back as an adult, and I think actually my heart really goes out for him. I wonder, because like there's always a reason of all that.
Yeah.
This is going way off track.
Wow, this is some deep
I'm not
stuff.
really sure
I just asked you about bare knuckle fighting, and you've opened up a whole. In fact, I've been covering you for well over 10 years, covering your career, talking to you. I don't think I've ever heard you swear until 5 minutes ago.
I was quoting something I said.
Oh, okay. I just never heard those words come out of your mouth, a cuss word. I like this new Holly Holm, the out of the UFC Holly Holm. It's a whole new you.
I think when I just do interviews, I don't. I actually try not to cuss so much, but I kind of yeah.
You do cuss a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, more than I want to. I don't.
You were the preacher's
Not really
daughter, as far as I
necessary.
was concerned, so I didn't know.
I mean, I try not to. I don't like how much I don't know. It's really not necessary.
Sure.
You can express things in life without having to.
It feels good sometimes to just let out a good F word.
Yes, it does sometimes.
Yes, it does. Okay. By the way, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I was hanging up a call that was coming in.
I know this is very fresh, but have you guys talked to anyone? Are there people reaching out? Where are we at?
Until it was official, we didn't talk to anybody because we didn't want, there'd be like contractual problems. And it's definitely, I just kind of, I like, I worked out Monday, I sparred Tuesday, and I'm staying active, but I'm also just kind of letting the change, process. It's change,
This is good. Are you embracing it? Are you enjoying the change? Are you excited about the change?
I am embracing it because there's no other way to be. If I'm still stuck on what I was really, picturing and what I really wanted before, I can't focus and go forward with what's in front of me. So I just think that that's if in a perfect world, I would have, got the belt, never lost again, retired on top, things like that. And I know that I've had a lot of opportunities and a lot of big fights, and some that I've performed very well on, and some that I was so disappointed in my performance. So I I mean, any loss of my career, even back in boxing, if I sit there and think about it too much, that is the only thing that could keep me up at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I hate to lose. I hate it, and they stick with you. But in order to move forward, you have to be able to look at what it was, evaluate, be honest with yourself, and change those things. So I just want to go out there, and I definitely want to put on a show. I want to show that I do still have a couple fights left in me, because I know I do. Yes, I'm older. I'm going to retire soonish. Not that soon. I still got some left. I didn't perform in a fight doesn't mean that I wasn't healthy enough or able enough. That was all more just second guessing, and you can't do that when you get in there. When the bell goes, you just have to go, and that's where I failed. So I take nothing away from any of my opponents. It's just I truly feel like I could have won all the fights that I've been there with if I would have performed. And there's days where I went in there and did it just how I was supposed to, and then other days where, I missed the opportunity, and then you stick with that. Wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I also am super blessed, and I've had a decade of boxing, a decade of MMA. A lot of people really can't say that, and so I'm thankful for the journey that I've had, and I know that I'm not done.
Yes.
I still got something for you guys
Listen,
to
don't
see.
let anyone. No one gets to write your story. No one gets to
That's right.
to finish the chapters. You get to do it. You decide. It's your life. At the end of the day, you have to
That's
look. And a lot of people I saw showing you love. I don't know if you look at any of these things, but I saw a lot of people
Oh,
showering you with love.
yeah. I think that there's always here's the thing. Most people really are positive. I really don't have a problem with that. And it doesn't bother me if people are negative. Here's one thing that's for certain. The ones that are the most negative or say that you should be doing this or should be doing that, those are the ones that just they couldn't do it themselves. And that's why they say you shouldn't, because they can't fathom it because they can't do it.
Yes.
That's what happens a lot of times. And it's okay. I don't mind. And there's people that have done it, and they might still feel the same, like, oh, maybe Holly should be done or this or that. And that doesn't even it doesn't bother me, because like it's me, it's my journey. And I definitely know that I'm still very capable of having big wins, and I want to do that.
By the way, the Kayla Harrison fight, she's a special athlete. No shame in losing to someone like Kayla Harrison. She is supremely tough. Were you impressed with her?
Oh, she's tough. She's definitely the strongest. I usually can feel I may not like look as like, buff as some of the girls, but I usually strength wise, I feel stronger than the girls I fight. Skill changes a lot of that, and coming from different backgrounds, everybody has their um their qualities and their strengths and things like that. Everybody's, with the last fight, why would you want to clinch? Or why would you decide to do that? And I didn't decide to do it. It's that I allowed her to do it. And when she went for that first takedown and I reversed her, my ego definitely got involved. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. I'll get you too, and that's not the game plan. But it's not like I was like, oh, I want to get in the clinch with her and I want to wrestle with her. Why would I want to take her where she's the most, threatening? I didn't want that. I should have been striking. I should have been putting punches on her face. This is in no disrespect to her. I respect her. I respect everybody I've been in there with, but I should have been punching her in the face. I should have making it to where she didn't feel comfortable to come in and clinch with me. So it wasn't that I wanted the fight to go that way. It's that I didn't do my plan and allowed her to execute her plan. And yeah, she's very strong. She's very skilled. So like I said, I'm not taking away the fact that she's skilled and she's strong. She's tough. She's a champion from, another organization and been in the Olympics and things like that. So she's a very decorated athlete, and I know that she's very strong. But I still, in my own heart, just know I didn't do as well as I could have done.
Well, big year coming up. It's not the last dance. We're doing one in boxing, one in MMA, maybe one in bare knuckle, and one in karate combat as well. F it. YOLO.
Do you want to karate? Yeah, I haven't done either of those.
Yes.
I think one of the things with the bare knuckle, I know that I don't even know why, but went on all this other stuff. But maybe that's me saying I think the only time I'm going to do bare knuckle is like
in a street fight.
Times no, I'm saying it's all in my past.
Oh, okay, got it.
Well. But I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. I think that there's too many opportunities that I don't think that would be the one that I would be like where my passion is at. I like to follow where my passion is at. And I love watching bare knuckle. I mean, if you didn't see that fight last weekend, whoa.
It's wild, yeah.
It's almost like, or people were uncomfortable. I don't get uncomfortable watching fights. Like the blood and everything didn't bother me at all, there's Cody.
Golly, that is wild. Look at you. You're delighted.
Well, I was happy for him. He dug. You know what it is. Here's the thing. He's had 8 fights this year. He's had some wild paths. You know what I mean? Like, he's fought a lot, and he's one of those people that we even have an adaptive program at the gym, and he helps coach some of these guys, and he's one of their favorite instructors. He just to see like what he does like outside of his own fighting. He helps people that have been getting out of jail like to get out and be active and be positive, and he's tries to spread God's word. And so you see that, and you don't see all these things he's doing and genuinely wanting to do well in life. So for him to like dig deep and have this a war and come out on top, for me, I was happy for him. He got a victory from a really hard fought battle. And so, yeah, I was happy for that. I got to see him pour his heart out there. And I'm telling you, it was definitely a brutal fight. But it's more than that. And if I know Cody, he wouldn't want the fight to be stopped because of cuts. Feel like, let me go out on my shield, And he wound up, he got like, I think 4 knockdowns in the fight. He just got cut along the way. He took shots is why he got cut. But I was just to be there, and like some people don't like to see it, and that's okay. All the blood and everything, But let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think there's more actual brain damage in bare knuckle or regular boxing?
Oh, 100% regular boxing, 100%. Because the bare knuckle fights end very quickly. Yeah.
The amount of punches that you take, like, when you're doing a 12 3-minute round and they're constantly. So yes, it is blood, and it is kind of, so some people, everyone can watch boxing, but it's actually even more than MMA. It's probably the most brain damage in boxing.
Sure, of course.
But that's the one most people can watch.
Right.
Even more than MMA.
Yep.
So I think that's just, and I can watch it all. I love it all. I love fighting. But when I was there and just seeing them put their heart out there, and don't get me wrong, those guys took some shots. So I'm not going to say that there was, none of that. But I love battle. I love all that. So I'm not saying that it's like never a no to bare knuckle. I don't know if that's really where my passion's at.
I know, I get it. Listen. I think the boxing idea would be great. I think MMA would be great. I'm happy to hear that you're still fighting, that you're following your heart, that you're only listening to yourself and the people that are closest to you, around you. And I'm really curious to see what comes your way. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Keep us posted. We're rooting for you. We'll always be rooting for you. And congrats,
Thank you.
by the way, on a tremendous legendary Hall of Fame run in the UFC. You delivered some incredible moments and one of the most famous moments of all time. Not a lot of people can say that, but you did it. So well done.
Well, and thank you to everyone who's supported and followed my journey. Much love.
Well done. Thank you, Holly. All the best. There she is. The great Holly Holm, the legendary Holly Holm. Really great talk to her, and happy for her, and really a Hall of Fame career that she should be extremely proud of. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor, hit that sub button, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.